DJ Park kicked open his penthouse door at 2 a.m., blood dripping from his knuckles, murder still hot in his veins, and froze. Nadia stood there in nothing but silk, thin, translucent, clinging to curves he'd sworn never to touch. His wife, his untouched, off-limits virgin bride he'd married for protection, not pleasure. "You're hurt," she whispered, moving toward him like she had every right to touch Korea's most dangerous man. He should have shoved her away, should have kept his vow, but when her trembling fingers brushed the blood on his jaw, something feral ripped through his control. "Don't!" His voice came out strangled. "If you touch me again, I won't be able to stop." She looked up at him with those innocent eyes, and touched him anyway. That was her first mistake. Her second was thinking he'd never discover the secret she's been hiding, the one that will shatter his sacred vow, destroy his last shred of honor, and turn this arrangement into an obsession so dark, so twisted, that only one of them will survive it whole. If you are already feeling the tension, subscribe, hit the like button, and let's dive right in. The elevator doors opened to the top floor of the Crystal Tower Hotel, and Nadia Washington felt her heart trying to escape through her chest. Her father's shaking hand gripped her arm as they stepped into the hallway, lined with men in black suits. Each one looked like they could break a person in half without blinking. "Please, baby girl, just get through today," her father whispered, his voice cracking. "After this, the debt is gone. Your mama and your brothers will be safe." Nadia wanted to scream. She wanted to run. But she loved her family more than she feared whatever waited behind those double doors at the end of the hall. So she lifted her chin, smoothed down the simple white dress they had given her to wear, and walked forward like she was heading to her own funeral. The doors swung open, and Nadia's breath caught in her throat. The man sitting in the leather chair by the window was nothing like she expected. The rumors called him a monster, a demon, the Ice King of Chicago's underground. But Dae-Jung Park looked like he had stepped out of a dark fairy tale. Sharp jaw, perfectly styled black hair, and eyes so intense they seemed to look straight through her skin and into her soul. He wore an all-black suit that probably cost more than her father's house, and when he stood up, Nadia realized he was tall, really tall. "Leave us," DJ said to everyone in the room. His voice was smooth and cold like winter water. The men in suits filed out immediately. Even her father backed away toward the door, giving Nadia one last apologetic look before disappearing. Then it was just the two of them in that huge room overlooking the Chicago skyline. DJ walked toward her slowly, his footsteps quiet on the expensive carpet. Nadia forced herself not to move, not to show fear. She had learned a long time. Ego, that powerful men liked it when you were scared. She would not give him that satisfaction. He stopped 3 feet away, studying her like she was a puzzle he needed to solve. His eyes travelled from her face down to her toes and back up again. Not in a gross way, but like he was taking inventory, checking the merchandise. "You know why you are here," he said. It was not a question. "My father's debt," Nadia replied, keeping her voice steady. $3 million he borrowed and cannot pay back. 3.7 million, DJ corrected. With interest. The number hit her like a punch. Her father had lied about how bad it really was. "And you agreed to this arrangement?" DJ asked, tilting his head slightly. "Marriage to a stranger to clear your family's debt?" "I agreed to save their lives," Nadia shot back. "Let's not pretend this is anything romantic." Something flickered in DJ's eyes, amusement, maybe, or respect. It vanished too quickly to tell. "Good," he said. "We understand each other. This is a business transaction, nothing more." He moved to a table where papers were spread out next to 2 champagne glasses and a pen. The ceremony will happen in 10 minutes. A judge is waiting in the next room. We will sign papers, say words, and then it is done. You will move into my home tonight. Nadia's stomach twisted. Tonight? Your father's debt is cleared the moment you become my wife, DJ explained, still not looking at her. Until the marriage is legal, the debt stands. I do not wait. He finally turned to face her again, and this time he stepped closer. Close enough that Nadia could smell his cologne, something expensive and woodsy that made her head feel fuzzy. Close enough to see that his eyes were not pure black like she thought, but the deepest brown she had ever seen. I need to make something very clear, DJ said, his voice dropping lower. This marriage is for appearance only. You will live in my home. You will attend events with me when required. You will play the role of my wife in public. He paused, and his next words came out sharp and final. But I will never touch you, not in that way. Your bedroom will be separate from mine. What happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors, and behind my door, you do not exist. Nadia felt her cheeks burn. Part of her was relieved. She had spent the last 24 hours terrified of what he might expect from her on their wedding night. But another part of her, a part she did not want to admit existed, felt stung by how easily he dismissed her. Why? The question slipped out before she could stop it. DJ's eyebrow raised. Why what? Why marry me at all if you want nothing to do with me? Nadia pressed. You could have taken the debt some other way. For the first time, something dark and complicated crossed DJ's face. I have my reasons. They do not concern you. He checked his expensive watch. 5 minutes. Do you need to call your family? Say goodbye? I said goodbye. This morning, Nadia whispered, feeling tears trying to form. She blinked them back hard. DJ studied her again with those impossible eyes. Then he did something unexpected. He reached out and touched her chin, tilting her face up so she had to look at him. His fingers were warm, and the touch sent electricity racing down her spine. Rule number 1, he said softly, his thumb brushing against her jaw. Never let them see you cry. Tears are weapons people will use against you. You are about to become Nadia Park, wife of the most dangerous man in Chicago. You cry in private or not at all, understand? Nadia's breath hitched. She was trapped between wanting to pull away from his touch and wanting to lean into it. His hand felt like fire and ice at the same time. I understand, she managed to say. Good girl. The words should have sounded condescending, but the way he said them made heat pool in Nadia's stomach. DJ dropped his hand and stepped back, the cold mask sliding back over his face like nothing had happened. Let's go. Time to make you mine. The ceremony lasted exactly 8 minutes. The judge, a nervous old man who would not look DJ in the eye, rushed through the words so fast, Nadia barely processed them. She said, I do, when prompted. DJ said it too, his voice bored and flat. Then suddenly, there was a ring being slipped onto her finger, heavy platinum with diamonds that caught the light. You may kiss the bride, the judge squeaked out. Nadia's heart stopped. DJ had said he would not touch her, but everyone was watching. The men in suits had returned and lined the walls. This was a show. DJ turned to her, and for just a second, she saw something flicker in his expression. Hesitation? No, that could not be right. Then his hand was on her waist, pulling her against his hard chest, and his other hand cupped the back of her neck. Do not slap me, he whispered against her lips, so quiet only she could hear. Then he kissed her. The world exploded into colour and heat and sensation. DJ's lips were soft but demanding, moving against hers like he owned them. Like he owned her. Nadia gasped, and he took the opportunity to deepen the kiss, his tongue sliding against hers in a way that made her knees actually go weak. She grabbed onto his suit jacket just to stay standing, her first kiss, and it was setting her entire body on fire. Just when Nadia thought she might melt into a puddle right there on the hotel carpet, DJ pulled back. His eyes were darker than before, his breathing slightly harder. For one wild moment, she thought she saw real desire flash across his face. Then it was gone. He released her and stepped away, adjusting his jacket. "It is done," he announced to the room. "Mrs. Park and I will be leaving now." The drive to his penthouse was silent. Nadia sat in the back of the luxury car, her lips still tingling, her mind racing. DJ stared out the window like she was not even there, like he had not just kissed her in a way that made her entire body ache. The penthouse took up the entire top floor of a building overlooking Lake Michigan. It was all glass and steel and cold modern furniture, beautiful and empty, just like the man who owned it. "Your room is down this hall," DJ said, pointing left. "Mine is the opposite direction. There is a kitchen, but I am rarely here to use it. Staff will come during the day. Stay out of my office. Do not answer my phone. Do not touch my things." He was rattling off rules like she was a pet. He was learning to house train. Nadia felt anger starting to replace the confusion and strange longing from earlier. "Anything else, master?" she asked, sarcasm dripping from every word. DJ's head snapped toward her, and for a second, real emotion cracked through his mask. Surprise. Maybe even a hint of a smile. "Yes," he said, walking closer until he was in her space again. "One more thing." He reached up and traced one finger along her bottom lip, the same lip he had kissed an hour ago. The touch was feather-light, but it burned. "That kiss was for show," DJ murmured. His eyes locked on her mouth. "It meant nothing. It will not happen again. I suggest you forget how it felt, because I already have." He dropped his hand and walked away, disappearing down the hall to his bedroom. The door clicked shut, with a sound of finality. Nadia stood frozen in the middle of the enormous empty penthouse. Her lips still tingled where he had touched it. Her body still hummed from being pressed against his during that kiss. And despite his cold words, she had felt how his hands had tightened on her waist, how his breathing had changed, how he had looked at her like he wanted to devour her whole, before remembering he was not supposed to want her at all. Daejung Park was a liar. That kiss had meant something, to him, and definitely to her. And Nadia had a terrible feeling that living under the same roof as her devastatingly handsome, completely untouchable husband was going to be the sweetest torture she had ever known. She touched her own lips, remembering the taste of him, and whispered to the empty room, "What have I gotten myself into?" 3 weeks later, Nadia woke to the sound of the penthouse door closing at 2 in the morning. Again, she lay in her enormous bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to DJ's quiet footsteps moving through the living room. He was trying to be silent, probably thinking she was asleep. He always came home late now. Sometimes she heard him pour a drink. Sometimes she heard the shower running for a long time. But he never came to her door, never knocked, never checked if she was even alive. During the day, the penthouse felt like a museum, beautiful but lonely. The cleaning staff came and went like ghosts, barely speaking to her. DJ left before she woke up and returned long after she had given up waiting. They had not shared a real conversation since the wedding, not even about boring things like weather or food. But Nadia was not stupid. She noticed things, like how fresh groceries appeared in the kitchen every Monday, all her favourite foods that she had never told anyone about. Someone was paying attention, like how a new art book showed up on the coffee table after she had mentioned to one of the staff that she missed painting, like how the thermostat was always set to exactly 72 degrees, the perfect temperature she preferred. DJ claimed he wanted nothing to do with her, but his actions told a different story. Tonight, Nadia could not take it anymore. She threw off her blankets, pulled on a robe over her silk pajamas, and padded barefoot into the living room. DJ stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows, a glass of whiskey in his hand, staring out at the Chicago lights. He had shed his suit jacket, and his white shirt was untucked and unbuttoned at the collar. Even from across the room, Nadia could see the tension in his shoulders. "Do you ever actually sleep?" she asked. DJ spun around, surprise flashing across his face before the cold mask slammed back into place. "You should be in bed." "So should you," Nadia shot back, walking closer. "It's 2 a.m. I have work." "At 2 a.m? My work does not follow normal hours." DJ took a long drink, his eyes tracking her movement across the room. "Go back to bed, Nadia." There it was, the first time he had said her name in 3 weeks. It sounded different in his voice, with that slight accent that made everything sound more interesting. "Why do you avoid me?" The question came out softer than she intended. DJ's jaw tightened. "I am not avoiding you. We live our separate lives as agreed. We live in the same house and act like strangers," Nadia corrected, stopping a few feet away from him. "You have not even asked me how I am doing, if I am okay." "Nothing." "Are you okay?" The question sounded forced, like he was reading from a script. "No." Nadia admitted, "I am lonely. I gave up my whole life for this arrangement, and you cannot even have dinner with me once." Something flickered in DJ's expression. Guilt, maybe. He set down his glass and ran a hand through his perfect hair, messing it up in a way that made Nadia's stomach flip. "It is better this way," he said quietly. "Easier." "Easier for who?" DJ did not answer. He just stared at her, and for the first time, Nadia saw how tired he looked, like he had not slept properly in weeks either. The next few days felt different. DJ still came home late, but now he stopped in the kitchen where Nadia had started making herself dinner. He never ate with her, just grabbed a bottle of water, asked 1 or 2 short questions about her day, then disappeared. But it was something. Nadia started staying up later, reading in the living room instead of hiding in her bedroom. DJ would come home, see her on the couch, and pause. Sometimes he sat in the chair across from her for a few minutes, neither of them talking, just existing in the same space. It was strange and awkward, and somehow nice. Then came the night everything changed. The sound of the door slamming open jolted Nadia awake at midnight. She heard cursing in Korean, the sound of something heavy hitting the floor, then silence. Her heart hammering, Nadia grabbed her phone and crept out of her room. The living room was dark except for light spilling from the kitchen. She followed it and froze in the doorway. DJ leaned against the counter, his shirt torn and stained with blood. His lip was split, already swelling. Dark bruises bloomed across his cheekbone, and when he moved to grab a towel, he winced like his ribs hurt. "Oh my God," Nadia gasped, rushing forward without thinking. "What happened?" "Nothing," DJ said, his voice rough. "Go back to bed." "You are bleeding." "I am fine." "You are not fine." Nadia grabbed his arm, trying to turn him toward the light. "Let me see." DJ pulled away, but not before she saw him wince again. "I do not need help." "Stop being stubborn and sit down," Nadia ordered. Surprised by the strength in her own voice, she pointed at one of the kitchen chairs. "Now." For a long moment, DJ just stared at her. Then, incredibly, he sat. Maybe he was too tired to argue. Maybe he was hurt worse than he wanted to admit. Either way, he lowered himself into the chair with a barely hidden groan. Nadia's hands shook as she gathered supplies. She found a first aid kit under the sink, filled a bowl with warm water, and grabbed clean towels. When she turned back, DJ was watching her with an expression she could not read. "This is not your job," he said quietly. "You are my husband," Nadia replied, kneeling in front of him. "Even if it is just on paper, I am not going to let you bleed all over your own kitchen." She dampened a towel and reached for his face. DJ caught her wrist, his grip gentle but firm. "I am not a good man, Nadia," he said, his voice low and intense. "The things I did tonight, the reasons I look like this, you do not want to know. You should stay far away from me." "Then why did you marry me?" Nadia challenged, meeting his eyes. "If you wanted me far away, you could have found another solution to my father's debt." DJ's thumb brushed against the inside of her wrist, right over her racing pulse. His eyes dropped to where he touched her, and something hungry flickered across his face. "I have been asking myself the same question," he admitted. Slowly, he released her wrist. Nadia tried to ignore how her skin tingled where he had touched her. She focused on cleaning the cut on his lip, dabbing gently at the dried blood. DJ sat perfectly still, but she felt the tension radiating off him. "This might sting," she warned, reaching for antiseptic. "I have had worse." Nadia believed him. Up close, she could see faint scars on his neck, disappearing under his collar, evidence of a violent life she knew nothing about. She worked in silence, cleaning each cut and bruise with careful attention. DJ never flinched, never complained, but his breathing changed whenever her fingers brushed his skin. It got deeper, slower, like he was concentrating hard on staying still. When Nadia moved to check his ribs, she had to unbutton his shirt further. Her fingers fumbled with the buttons, hyper-aware of the warm skin underneath. DJ's hand suddenly covered hers, stopping her. "I can do the rest myself," he said, his voice rougher than before. But he did not move her hand. They stayed frozen like that, her fingers trapped between his hand and his chest. Nadia could feel his heart beating fast, matching her own racing pulse. "DJ," she whispered, not even sure what she was asking for. His other hand came up to cup her face, his thumb tracing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. "You are making this very difficult." "Making what difficult?" "Staying away from you." His eyes dropped to her lips, keeping my distance, remembering why I cannot have you. Nadia's breath caught. "Why can't you?" DJ leaned closer, so close she could feel his breath on her face. "Because I made a promise to myself a long time ago. I do not do what we did in that hotel room when we got married. I do not kiss women who do not know what they are getting into. And you, Nadia Washington Park, are too innocent for someone like me." The words should have made sense, but Nadia was too lost in the feeling of his hand on her face, the heat of his body so close to hers. "You do not know anything about me." "I know enough." His thumb brushed the corner of her mouth. "I know you have probably had boyfriends, people who treated you well, normal relationships." He paused, his jaw clenching. "I am not normal. What I would want from you is not sweet or gentle, or anything you are used to." Nadia's mind spun. He thought she had experience. He thought she knew what she was doing. The assumption would have been funny if her entire body was not aching for him to close the tiny distance between them. "What if you are wrong about me?" she whispered. DJ's eyes snapped to hers, searching. For a moment, hope and confusion warred on his face. His hand tightened slightly on her cheek. Then voices erupted in the hallway outside the penthouse, shouting in Korean. The sound of footsteps. DJ jerked back like he had been burned. He stood up fast, buttoning his shirt, the cold mask slamming back down over his features. "Go to your room. Lock the door. Do not come out until I tell you it is safe." "What's happening?" "Now, Nadia." The hardness in his voice left no room for argument. Nadia scrambled to her feet and ran to her bedroom. She locked the door with shaking hands and pressed her ear against it, trying to hear what was happening. More voices. DJ speaking rapid Korean, his tone sharp and commanding. Then silence. After what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes, a soft knock came at her door. "It is me," DJ said. "You can come out." Nadia unlocked the door. DJ stood there looking tired and frustrated. The moment between them in the kitchen felt like a dream now. "Is everything okay?" she asked. "Yes, just business." He paused, his eyes scanning her face like he was memorizing it. "You should sleep. Tomorrow I have to go out of town for a few days." "Oh." Disappointment crashed through Nadia. "Okay." DJ turned to leave, then stopped. Without looking back, he said quietly, "Thank you. For tonight. For taking care of me." Before Nadia could respond, he was gone, disappearing down the hall to his room. She stood in her doorway, her heart still racing, her skin still tingling where he had touched her. Something had shifted tonight. Some wall had cracked. DJ had almost kissed her. He had touched her face like she was precious. He had admitted he was fighting to stay away from her, and Nadia realized with startling clarity that she did not want him to stay away anymore. She wanted him to stop fighting. She wanted those hands on her again, that intensity focused entirely on her. She wanted to know what he meant about not being gentle, what he thought she could not handle. She touched her cheek where his thumb had been and whispered into the darkness, "What am I going to do about you, Dae-young Park?" In his room down the hall, DJ stood under a cold shower, trying to wash away the memory of Nadia's soft hands on his skin, trying to forget how sweet she had smelled kneeling between his legs, trying to cool the fire that had ignited when she looked up at him with those big, trusting eyes. He had almost broken his vow, almost kissed her, almost pulled her into his lap and showed her exactly what he wanted to do to her, but she deserved better. She had probably had decent men who treated her right, and here he was, a violent criminal who came home covered in blood. What could he possibly offer someone like her? Even if the way she had touched him made him think maybe, just maybe, she wanted him too. DJ slammed his fist against the shower wall. This was going to be harder than he thought. "Pack a bag. We leave in 2 hours." Nadia looked up from her breakfast to find DJ standing in the kitchen doorway, dressed in dark jeans and a black t-shirt that showed off muscles she had only felt through his shirts before. He had been gone for 5 days on business, and now he was back, looking at her with an expression she could not quite read. "Leave for where?" she asked, trying to ignore how her heart had jumped at seeing him again. "Miami. I have meetings. You are coming with me." It was not a question, but Nadia asked anyway. "Why?" DJ's jaw tightened. "Because I said so. 2 hours, Nadia. Bring something nice to wear." He turned to leave, then paused, "And bring a swimsuit." He disappeared before she could ask anything else, leaving Nadia staring after him in confusion. In 3 weeks of marriage, DJ had barely acknowledged her existence. Now he suddenly wanted her to travel with him. Something had changed while he was gone. She could feel it. The private plane felt like something out of a movie. Leather seats, a bedroom in the back, and a flight attendant who kept calling Nadia Mrs. Park, like she was actually important. DJ worked on his laptop the entire flight, barely looking at her, but Nadia caught him glancing her way when he thought she was not paying attention. Miami hit them with wall of heat and sunshine the moment they stepped off the plane. A car waited on the tarmac to drive them to a hotel right on the beach. Their suite had 2 bedrooms. Nadia noticed with mixed disappointment and relief, but they shared a living room with an ocean view that took her breath away. "I have a meeting at 6, DJ said, checking his watch. "It will last a few hours. Order room service if you are hungry. Do not leave the suite without calling me first. Am I a prisoner? Nadia asked, irritation flaring. DJ's eyes snapped to hers. You are my wife in a city full of people who would love to hurt me by hurting you. So yes, you stay where I know you are safe. The words should have scared her. Instead, they made warmth spread through her chest. He was worried about her. What about after your meeting? Nadia challenged. You said I needed a swimsuit. Something almost like a smile tugged at DJ's mouth. If you behave while I am gone, maybe I will take you to see the ocean. I am not a child. No. DJ agreed, his eyes doing that thing where they travelled down her body and back up. You are definitely not a child. He left before Nadia could figure out if that was a compliment or just an observation. True to his word, DJ returned at 9 that evening and knocked on her bedroom door. Nadia had changed into a simple sundress, having no idea what to expect. Come, he said when she opened the door. The beach is better at night anyway. They walked down to the sand in silence, Nadia carrying her sandals, DJ with his hands in his pockets. The moon painted everything silver, and the sound of waves crashing was the most peaceful thing Nadia had heard in weeks. Why did you really bring me here? She asked once they were far enough from the hotel. DJ was quiet for a long moment, staring out at the dark water. I do not know, he finally admitted. I was in New York, sitting in another hotel room, and I kept thinking about you alone in that penthouse. It seemed wrong. So you felt guilty? Maybe. He glanced at her. Or maybe I missed you. Nadia's breath caught. DJ said it so casually, like he had not just admitted something huge. You missed me? Do not make a big deal about it, DJ muttered, but his ears turned slightly red. They walked in silence for a while, the sand cool under Nadia's feet. Then DJ surprised her by asking, What did you want to be before all this? What do you mean? You went to college. You had plans. What were they? Nadia felt emotion clog her throat. No one had asked her about her dreams in so long. I wanted to be a teacher. Elementary school. I love kids and I love art. So I thought I could combine both. Help children express themselves through painting and drawing. DJ nodded slowly. That suits you. What about you? Nadia asked. Did you always want to be in this life? His face went dark. No. This life chose me, not the other way around. But we are not talking about that tonight. Then what are we talking about? DJ stopped walking and turned to face her. The moonlight made his features look softer, younger. Tell me something real about you, something no one else knows. Nadia thought about it. I am scared of the dark. Not just a little scared, but terrified. I sleep with a lamp on every night. I know. DJ said quietly, I noticed the light under your door. You did? I notice everything about you, Nadia. It is becoming a problem. The way he said it, low and almost frustrated, made heat pool in Nadia's stomach. Your turn. Tell me something real. DJ looked out at the ocean, his jaw working like he was fighting with himself. I have not laughed in 3 years. Not really. Not until I heard you singing in the shower last week. You are terrible at it, by the way. Hey! Nadia shoved his shoulder, and DJ actually smiled. A real one that showed his teeth and made his eyes crinkle at the corners. See? Terrible, he teased. But it made me smile anyway. They started walking again, and somehow Nadia's hand brushed against DJ's. She expected him to pull away, but instead his pinky finger hooked around hers. Such a small touch, but it felt like the world shifting. Why do you keep yourself so closed off? Nadia asked softly. I know you are dangerous. I know you do bad things. But you are also the man who makes sure I have my favourite coffee in the morning, the man who turns on the heat before I wake up. You are not as cold as you pretend to be. DJ stopped again, turning to face her fully. His hand came up to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear, and this time he did not pull away. His palm cupped her cheek, warm and solid. Maybe I am cold, he said quietly, and maybe you are the only thing warm enough to thaw me out. That terrifies me. Why? Because I do not deserve warmth. I do not deserve you. Nadia turned her face into his palm, pressing a kiss to his wrist before she could stop herself. DJ inhaled sharply, his thumb brushing across her bottom lip. Nadia, he breathed, and the way he said her name made her knees weak. Then the moment shattered. Shouting erupted from somewhere behind them on the beach. DJ's entire body went rigid, his hand dropping from her face as he spun around. 3 men were running toward them, and even in the darkness, Nadia could see the guns. Run, DJ commanded, pushing Nadia behind him. Back to the hotel now. But there was no time. The men reached them in seconds, shouting in Spanish. DJ moved like lightning, his fist connecting with the first man's jaw, dropping him instantly, but the other 2 were on him, and Nadia screamed as one of them grabbed her arm, yanking her away. DJ's eyes found hers across the chaos, and what she saw there was pure rage. He fought like a demon, brutal and efficient, taking hits but delivering worse. When the man holding Nadia tried to drag her toward a car waiting in the parking lot, DJ broke free and tackled him to the sand. Touch her again and I will kill you, DJ snarled in English, his hands around the man's throat. Tell your boss DJ Park's wife is off limits. Tell him what happens if anyone tries this again. The man nodded frantically, gasping for air. DJ released him and spun to grab Nadia, pulling her tight against his chest. She could feel his heart hammering, feel the rage still vibrating through his body. Are you hurt? His hands ran over her arms, her shoulders, checking for injuries. Did he hurt you? No, I am okay. Nadia managed, but she was shaking. DJ cursed in Korean and swept her up into his arms like she weighed nothing. He carried her all the way back to the hotel, not putting her down until they were inside their suite, with the door locked and bolted behind them. Only then did Nadia see the blood on his knuckles, the cut above his eyebrow, the way he was breathing hard. You are hurt again, she whispered. I am fine. You are not fine. Nadia's fear transformed into anger. You could have been killed. We both could have been killed. But we were not. DJ grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to look at him. I will never let anyone hurt you. Do you understand? Never. Why? The question burst out of her. Why do you care so much if this marriage means nothing, if I mean nothing? DJ's eyes went dark and wild. His grip on her shoulders tightened. You think you mean nothing to me. You said this was just business. I lied. The words came out harsh and raw. I have been lying to myself for weeks. You mean everything, and it is driving me insane. Nadia's breath stopped. DJ... He backed her against the wall, not roughly but with clear intent. His hands came up to cage her in, one on either side of her head. He was so close she could feel the heat radiating off him, could see the storm of emotions in his eyes. Every morning I wake up wanting you, he said, his voice rough. Every night I lie awake thinking about you down the hall. When that man grabbed you tonight, I wanted to tear him apart with my bare hands. You are supposed to mean nothing, but instead, you are all I think about. Nadia's hands came up to rest on his chest. She could feel his heart racing under her palms. Then, stop fighting it. DJ made a sound low in his throat, somewhere between a laugh and a groan. You do not know what you are asking for. Tell me. His forehead dropped to rest against hers, his eyes closing. I want to kiss you until you cannot breathe. I want my hands on every inch of your skin. I want you under me, over me, wrapped around me. I want things that would make you blush to hear. Heat exploded through Nadia's body. Maybe I want those things too. DJ's eyes snapped open, searching hers. You have probably been with men who were gentle. Sweet. I am not like that. When I finally break, when I finally stop holding back, it will not be gentle. Good. Nadia whispered, barely recognizing her own boldness. I do not want gentle. DJ groaned and dropped his head to her shoulder, his breath hot against her neck. You are killing me. Then kiss me. For one perfect moment, Nadia thought he would. His lips brushed against her neck, just barely, and electricity shot through her entire body. His hands slid from the wall to her waist, pulling her flush against him. She could feel every hard plane of his body, feel the evidence that he wanted her as much as she wanted him. Then DJ cursed and pulled back, putting distance between them. No, he said, his voice strained. Not like this. Not when you have probably had other relationships and know what you want. I need to be sure. I need to be in control. Nadia stared at him in confusion and frustration. What are you talking about? What other relationships? Do not play innocent, DJ said, running a hand through his hair. You are 28 years old, beautiful, smart. Of course you have had boyfriends, been with men who treated you well. I cannot be just another one who loses control and takes what he wants. Understanding crashed through Nadia. He still thought she had experience. He had no idea the truth. Part of her wanted to tell him right then, to explain that he would not be another one because there had never been anyone. But the words stuck in her throat, fear holding them back. What if knowing the truth changed everything? What if it made him want her less or worse, made him feel obligated to be someone he was not? Go to bed, Nadia, DJ said quietly, already backing toward his room, before I change my mind and forget all the reasons why I should not touch you. He disappeared into his bedroom, and Nadia heard the lock click. She stood against the wall, her body still burning, her mind spinning. DJ wanted her, that much was clear, but he was holding back because of assumptions that were completely wrong, and Nadia was too scared to correct him because she did not know what would happen if she did. She touched her neck where his lips had barely brushed and felt tears of frustration sting her eyes. How could wanting someone hurt this much? How could being married to someone feel lonelier than being alone? In his room, DJ stood under another cold shower, his fist pressed against the tile, fighting the urge to go back out there and finish what they had started. Nadia had looked at him like she wanted to be devoured, like she was ready for everything he wanted to give her, but he had to be sure, had to be in control, because once he started, he would not be able to stop. And Nadia deserved better than a man who could not hold himself back, even if keeping himself in check was destroying him piece by piece. The jazz music wrapped around them like silk, smooth and intoxicating. Nadia swayed slightly in her seat, the third glass of wine making everything feel warm and soft around the edges. Across the small table, DJ watched her with an intensity that made her skin tingle. They had been in New Orleans for 2 days, and something had shifted between them since Miami. DJ touched her more now. Just small things like guiding her through doors with his hand on her lower back, or reaching across the table to tuck her hair behind her ear. Nothing too bold, but enough to keep Nadia constantly aware of him. Tonight he had surprised her by taking her to this jazz club, instead of leaving her alone for another business meeting. He wore all black as usual, but he had rolled up his sleeves, and Nadia could not stop staring at his forearms. Who knew forearms could be so attractive? You are staring. DJ said, amusement dancing in his eyes. You are worth staring at, Nadia replied, the wine making her brave. DJ's eyes darkened. Careful. You keep looking at me like that, and I might forget we are in public. Maybe I want you to forget. The air between them crackled with electricity. DJ leaned forward, his voice dropping low. Nadia, if I forget, if I stop holding back, there is no going back. Do you understand what I am saying? I understand that you keep pushing me away when all I want is for you to pull me closer. DJ's jaw clenched. He signalled for the check, his movements sharp and controlled. We are leaving. The walk back to their hotel felt like it took forever, and no time at all. DJ's hand stayed firmly on Nadia's lower back, burning through the thin fabric of her red dress. She had bought it yesterday, hoping he would notice. From the way his eyes had nearly fallen out of his head when she walked out of her room earlier, he had definitely noticed. Their suite was dark when they entered, lit only by the lights of the French Quarter streaming through the windows. DJ locked the door behind them with a click that sounded final, permanent. Do you want some water? Nadia asked, suddenly nervous. Or I could order food if you are hungry, or... DJ crossed the room in 3 long strides and cupped her face in his hands. Stop talking. Then he kissed her. Not like the wedding kiss that had been for show. This was real and desperate and hungry. His lips moved against hers with barely controlled need, his tongue sliding into her mouth when she gasped. Nadia's knees went weak, and DJ's arm wrapped around her waist, holding her up, pulling her flush against his hard body. I have been dying to do that again, he muttered against her lips. For weeks. Do you know how many times I have imagined this? Tell me. Nadia breathed. Every night. DJ kissed along her jaw, down her neck, finding spots that made her moan. Every morning, every time you walk past me in those little shorts you sleep in. His hands slid down to her hips, pulling her even closer, and Nadia could feel exactly how much he wanted her. Heat pooled low in her belly. Unfamiliar and intense and perfect. Bedroom, DJ growled against her neck. Now! He walked her backward, never breaking contact, kissing her like he might die if he stopped. They stumbled through the door into his bedroom, and DJ kicked it shut behind them. The back of Nadia's legs hit the bed, and she sat down hard, looking up at him. DJ stood over her, breathing hard, his eyes wild and dark. Last chance. If you want to stop, tell me now, because in about 10 seconds, I am not going to be able to. I do not want to stop, Nadia whispered. I want you. Something possessive and primal flashed across DJ's face. He reached for his shirt and pulled it over his head in one smooth motion. Nadia's breath caught at the sight of him. Smooth skin stretched over hard muscle, a few scars here and there that told stories she wanted to learn. He was beautiful and dangerous and hers. Your turn, DJ said, his voice rough. Nadia stood on shaking legs and reached for the zipper at the back of her dress. DJ stopped her, spinning her around gently. Let me. His fingers brushed her spine as he slowly pulled the zipper down, so slowly, like he was unwrapping something precious. The dress pulled at her feet, leaving Nadia in just her black lace underwear. She had never felt so exposed and so powerful at the same time. DJ's hands came to rest on her bare shoulders, his breath hot against her ear. You are so beautiful it hurts to look at you. He turned her back around and guided her to sit on the bed again. Then he knelt between her legs, his hands running up her thighs in a way that made her entire body tremble. Tell me if I do something you do not like, DJ murmured, pressing a kiss to her knee, then higher on her thigh. Tell me if I am going too fast. Nadia nodded, not trusting her voice. DJ's hands continued their exploration, mapping every inch of her skin like he was memorizing it. When his fingers hooked into the waistband of her underwear, Nadia tensed. DJ looked up at her immediately. "Okay, yes," Nadia whispered. "I am just nervous." "I know. First times with someone new are always nerve-wracking." He pressed a gentle kiss to her hip. "But I promise I will make it good for you. I will take care of you." First times with someone new. The words echoed in Nadia's head. He still did not know, and she was too far gone to stop and explain. DJ slid her underwear down her legs, his eyes never leaving hers. Then his hands were back on her thighs, spreading them gently, and Nadia's brain short-circuited. This was really happening. She was really about to. DJ froze, his hands stilled on her legs, his entire body going rigid. He stared at her with an expression Nadia could not read, something between shock and confusion, and dawning realization. "Nadia," he said carefully, "have you ever done this before?" Her face burned hot enough to catch fire. "What?" "I mean, not exactly like this, but any of it. Have you been with anyone? Ever?" The silence stretched out, heavy and terrible. Nadia wanted to disappear into the floor. She tried to close her legs, to cover herself, but DJ's hands held her gently in place. "Answer me," he said softly. "The truth." "No," Nadia whispered, tears stinging her eyes. "Never. You would be my first, for everything." DJ pulled back like she had slapped him. He stood up, running both hands through his hair, looking completely lost. "You should have told me." "I tried, sort of. But you kept assuming I had experience, and I did not know how to correct you without making it weird." Nadia grabbed a pillow to cover herself, humiliation washing over her. "I am sorry. I should have said something earlier. I ruined everything." "No." DJ's voice came out strangled. He sat down hard on the edge of the bed, his back to her. "You did not ruin anything. I did." Nadia watched him struggle, his shoulders tense, his head bowed. "DJ, please say something." "I made a vow," he finally said. "Years ago, after something bad happened. I promised myself I would never be with someone who had not experienced this before, someone innocent. Because I am not gentle, Nadia. I do not know how to be sweet or careful. I take what I want, and I do not think about it until after. I do not care about that." "You should." DJ turned to look at her, anguish written across his face. "Your first time should be special, with someone who will be tender and patient and make it perfect. Not with someone like me who almost just—" He cut himself off, jaw clenching. "I could have hurt you. I could have been too rough without even knowing." Nadia felt tears spill down her cheeks. "So what now? You are just never going to touch me because of some vow you made before you even knew me." DJ stood and grabbed his shirt, pulling it on with shaking hands. "I need to think. I need to figure this out." "There is nothing to figure out." Nadia's voice broke. "I am your wife. I want this. I want you. Why does it matter if I have experience or not?" "Because it matters to me." DJ's voice rose, then dropped again, softer. "Because I have spent years staying away from women like you. Good women who deserve better than what I have to offer. And now you are telling me that you are exactly what I have been avoiding. Except I cannot avoid you because you are already mine." He paced the room like a caged animal, his control visibly fraying. Nadia watched him, her heart breaking and mending and breaking again with every step he took. "What if I do not want to be avoided?" she asked quietly. "What if I chose you knowing exactly who you are?" DJ stopped pacing. He turned to look at her, and the raw emotion on his face took her breath away. "Why me, Nadia? Why save yourself just to give it to someone like me?" "Because I did not plan to," Nadia admitted, pulling the sheet around herself. I was not saving myself for some perfect moment. I just never met anyone I wanted like this. Never felt what I feel with you, and maybe that makes me stupid or naive, but I do not care. I want you to be my first. I want it to be you. DJ closed his eyes, his whole body shaking with the effort of holding himself back. This is impossible. Why? Because I am falling in love with you. The words exploded out of him, because somewhere between that forced wedding and tonight, you became the only thing I care about. And that terrifies me because I do not know how to love someone without destroying them. Nadia's heart stopped, then started racing double time. You love me. DJ laughed, the sound broken and harsh. Of course I love you. Why else would I torture myself like this? Why else would I bring you to Miami and New Orleans instead of leaving you safe in Chicago? Why else would the thought of being your first make me feel like I won the lottery and signed my death sentence at the same time? He came back to the bed and knelt in front of her again, taking her hands in his. You deserve someone who will be gentle with you, who will make your first time soft and sweet, and everything the movies promise. I do not know how to be that person. Then do not be, Nadia said, squeezing his hands. Be yourself. Be the man who protects me and challenges me and makes me feel alive. I do not want gentle and sweet. I want real. I want you. Nadia, I love you too, she interrupted. I have loved you for months, since you carried me back from the beach in Miami, maybe even before that, when you started leaving my favourite coffee in the kitchen. I love you, and I trust you, and I want you to be my first, because I cannot imagine it being anyone else. DJ stared at her, conflict warring in his eyes. If we do this, if I give in, my vow is broken. Everything I promised myself goes out the window. Maybe that vow was meant to be broken, Nadia whispered. Maybe you made it before you knew you would meet me, before you knew what we could be together. He pressed his forehead to their joined hands, his breathing ragged. I am scared I will hurt you. Not physically, but in other ways. I am scared I will be too much, or not enough, or both at the same time. I am scared too, Nadia admitted, but I am more scared of waking up tomorrow and still being in this strange place where we are married, but not really married, where we love each other but cannot touch. That scares me more than anything else. DJ looked up at her, and for the first time since this whole conversation started, Nadia saw hope flickering in his eyes. You really want this? Want me? More than I have ever wanted anything. He stood slowly, helping her to her feet, the sheet still wrapped around her. His hands came up to cup her face with devastating gentleness. If we do this, we do it right. I am not going to rush. I am not going to lose control. I am going to make sure your first time is exactly what it should be, even if it kills me to go slow. Nadia felt fresh tears, but this time they were happy ones. Okay, DJ echoed. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, the tip of her nose, soft kisses that felt like promises, but not tonight. What? Why? Because you have been drinking and you are emotional, and I need you to be completely sure about this when it happens. I need you to wake up tomorrow morning and still want me just as much. Can you do that? Nadia wanted to argue, wanted to pull him back to bed and finish what they started, but she saw the logic in his words, even if her body disagreed. I will still want you tomorrow, she promised. DJ smiled, really smiled, and it transformed his whole face. Then, tomorrow, we will figure this out, together. No more hiding, no more holding back. We do this right. He pulled her close, wrapping his arms around her, and Nadia melted into his embrace. They stood like that for a long time, just holding each other, feeling each other breathe. I love you. DJ murmured into her hair. I am probably going to mess this up 100 different ways, but I love you. I love you too, Nadia whispered back, mess-ups and all. They fell asleep that night in DJ's bed, fully clothed, wrapped around each other. It was not what either of them had planned, but somehow it was perfect anyway, because they had tomorrow and the day after that, and all the days that came next. The vow was broken, but DJ had made a new one in his heart, to love Nadia the way she deserved, to be worthy of the trust she placed in him, and to make her first time something she would remember for all the right reasons, even if waiting was going to kill him. Nadia woke to sunlight streaming through the windows and DJ's arm wrapped possessively around her waist. They had fallen asleep, tangled together, and sometime during the night he had pulled her even closer. His face was buried in her neck, his breathing slow and even against her skin. She stayed perfectly still, afraid to break the spell. In sleep, DJ looked younger, peaceful. The hard lines of his face softened, and Nadia could almost see the boy he must have been before life made him into the dangerous man everyone feared. I can feel you staring, DJ mumbled against her neck, his voice rough with sleep. How long have you been awake? Long enough. He pressed a kiss to her shoulder, then another one higher on her neck. Good morning. Nadia shivered as his lips found that spot behind her ear that made her toes curl. Good morning. DJ pulled back slightly to look at her, his dark eyes searching her face. Did you sleep well? Better than I have in months. It was true. Something about being wrapped in his arms made all her worries disappear. Good. His hand came up to trace her jawline with his thumb. Any regrets about last night? Only that we stopped, Nadia admitted, feeling brave in the morning light. Heat flared in DJ's eyes. Still sure about this? About us? I meant what I said. Once we cross this line, there is no going back. I do not want to go back. DJ studied her for another long moment, then nodded. Okay, but we do this right. Give me today to make arrangements. Arrangements? Trust me. He kissed her forehead and reluctantly pulled away, sitting up. I need to make some calls, order breakfast, eat, rest. Tonight will be a long night. The promise in his words made Nadia's stomach flutter with nerves and anticipation. The day crawled by with agonizing slowness. DJ disappeared for hours, making mysterious phone calls and leaving Nadia alone with her thoughts. She took a long bath, painted her nails, tried on 3 different outfits before settling on a simple white silk nightgown she had bought on impulse, but never worn. When DJ finally returned at 7 that evening, he looked at her standing in the living room and actually stopped in his tracks. You are trying to kill me, he said, his voice strained. Is it working? Yes. He crossed the room and pulled her against him, kissing her thoroughly until they were both breathless. I have something for you. Close your eyes. Nadia obeyed, and she felt DJ take her hand and lead her somewhere. When he told her to open them again, she gasped. The bedroom had been transformed. Candles covered every surface, casting everything in soft golden light. Rose petals were scattered across the bed and floor. Soft music played from somewhere, something slow and romantic that Nadia did not recognize. DJ, she breathed, tears already forming. You did all this. I told you we would do this right. He turned her to face him, his hands gentle on her shoulders. I want you to remember tonight for the rest of your life. I want it to be perfect. It already is, Nadia whispered. DJ cupped her face and kissed her slowly, deeply, taking his time. When he pulled back, his eyes were dark with desire, but also something softer. I need you to promise me something. If I do anything you do not like, if I hurt you or scare you, you tell me immediately. Okay, I promise. And if you want to stop at any point, we stop. No questions asked. DJ, I trust you. Something vulnerable flashed across his face. I do not know if anyone has ever said that to me before and meant it. Nadia took his hand and placed it over her racing heart. I mean it. I trust you completely. DJ inhaled shakily, then nodded. His hands went to her waist, and he walked her backward towards the bed. Then, let me show you how much I love you. He kissed her again, his hands sliding up her sides, learning the shape of her through the thin silk. Nadia's fingers found the buttons of his shirt, fumbling slightly with nerves. DJ helped her, shrugging out of the shirt and tossing it aside. Nadia's hands explored the smooth skin of his chest, tracing the scars she had noticed before. How did you get this one? Knife fight when I was 19, DJ murmured, kissing along her jaw. And this one, he guided her hand to a scar on his ribs. Bullet grazed 2 years ago. Does it still hurt? Not when you touch me. When you touch me, nothing hurts. He guided her to sit on the bed, then knelt before her just like the night before. But this time, there was no hesitation, no fear of the unknown, just love and want and trust. DJ's hands ran up her legs slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. You are so beautiful, Nadia, inside and out. Do you know that? She shook her head, unable to find words. Let me show you. His hands found the hem of her nightgown and slowly pushed it up. Let me worship you the way you deserve. What followed was both overwhelming and perfect. DJ took his time, kissing every inch of skin he revealed, whispering words in Korean that sounded like prayers. Nadia's nightgown disappeared, and then there was nothing between them but air and candlelight. Still okay? DJ asked, his voice rough with barely controlled desire. Yes, please do not stop. DJ groaned and captured her lips again, lowering her back onto the bed. His weight settled over her, perfect and right, and Nadia wrapped her arms around his neck to pull him closer. I am going to go slow, DJ promised against her lips. So slow. Tell me if anything is too much. He kept his promise. Every touch was deliberate and careful. Every kiss felt like he was pouring his soul into her. He mapped every inch of her body with his hands and mouth, finding places that made her gasp and moan and forget her own name. DJ. She whimpered, her body aching for something she did not quite understand yet. Please. I know, baby. I know. He kissed her deeply, his body finally settling between her legs. This might hurt at first, but I promise it gets better. I promise I will make it good for you. Nadia nodded, trusting him completely. DJ kissed her again, whispering words of love and reassurance in both English and Korean. Sarange, I love you. You are mine, only mine. Then slowly, carefully, he made them one. Nadia gasped at the sharp sting of pain, tears springing to her eyes. DJ froze immediately, his whole body shaking with the effort of staying still. Breathe, he whispered, kissing away her tears. Just breathe through it. I am sorry. I am so sorry. Do not apologize, Nadia managed, wrapping her legs around him instinctively. Keep going. I want this. DJ moved slowly, giving her time to adjust, murmuring sweet words the entire time. And gradually, like he promised, the pain faded into something else, something warm and perfect and overwhelming. Okay? DJ asked, his forehead pressed to hers, his body trembling with restraint. More than okay. Nadia breathed. You can move. Please move. DJ groaned and finally let go of some of his iron control. He moved with purpose, but still carefully, always watching her face for any sign of discomfort. Nadia met him, movement for movement, her body learning his rhythm instinctively. You feel like heaven. DJ breathed against her neck. Perfect. You are perfect. Time lost all meaning. There was only DJ's body against hers, his voice in her ear, his love surrounding her. completely. He was tender and passionate, controlled and wild, everything Nadia needed him to be. When she finally shattered in his arms, crying out his name, DJ followed her over the edge with a groan that sounded like a prayer. They clung to each other, breathing hard, hearts racing in sync. DJ rolled them carefully so Nadia was draped across his chest, still holding her close. His hand ran up and down her back in soothing strokes while they both tried to remember how to breathe. "Are you okay?" he asked after a while, his voice rough. "Did I hurt you?" "No. That was perfect." Nadia pressed a kiss to his chest, right over his racing heart. "You were perfect." DJ tightened his arms around her. "You have ruined me, you know that? I will never be the same after this, after you." "Good," Nadia said, smiling against his skin. "I do not want you to be the same. I want you to be mine." "I am yours," DJ promised. "From now until forever, you own every part of me." They lay tangled together, neither wanting to move. DJ's fingers traced lazy patterns on her back, while Nadia listened to his heartbeat gradually slow down. "Tell me what you said in Korean," she murmured. You kept whispering things I could not understand." DJ was quiet for a moment. "I told you that you are mine, that I would protect you always, that you are the most precious thing in my life." He paused. "And I might have said some other things that are too embarrassing to translate." Nadia giggled, the sound light and happy. "Tell me anyway." "Absolutely not." But she could hear the smile in his voice. Some things stay secret. Eventually they moved, cleaning up and changing the sheets together in comfortable silence, but they could not stay apart for long. DJ pulled Nadia back into his arms, tucking her against his chest like she belonged there. "Thank you," Nadia whispered into the darkness, "for making it special, for being you. Thank you for trusting me with this, with you." DJ kissed the top of her head. "I meant what I said. I love you, Nadia. More than I thought I could love anyone. I love you too." They made love twice more that night, each time different, but equally perfect. DJ showed her things she had never imagined, introduced her to pleasures she had not known existed, and through it all he was patient and tender and completely devoted to her happiness. When Nadia finally fell asleep in the early hours of morning, wrapped in DJ's arms with her body deliciously sore and her heart full to bursting, she knew everything had changed. They were not just married on paper anymore, they were husband and wife in every sense of the word, and nothing would ever tear them apart. DJ lay awake long after Nadia fell asleep, watching her chest rise and fall, still amazed that she was his. He had broken his vow, but he could not bring himself to regret it. Not when the alternative was living without this, without her. He pressed a soft kiss to her forehead and whispered a new vow into the darkness, a promise to love her, protect her, and be worthy of the gift she had given him, her trust, her body, her heart. "Forever," he murmured against her hair. "I am yours forever." And for the first time in his dangerous, violent life, DJ Park felt something he had never felt before, complete and total peace. The moment they stepped back into the Chicago penthouse, DJ pulled Nadia against him and kissed her thoroughly against the closed door. "I have been wanting to do that since we left the hotel," he murmured against her lips. 4 hours on a plane without being able to touch you was torture." Nadia laughed, wrapping her arms around his neck. "You held my hand the entire flight." "Not enough." DJ kissed her again, deeper this time, his hands sliding down to her hips. "Nothing is ever enough with you." They barely made it to the bedroom, leaving a trail of clothes behind them. The penthouse that had felt so cold and empty before now felt like home because they were filling it together. Later, wrapped in sheets with DJ's arm possessively around her waist, Nadia traced the new hickey on his collarbone with her finger. Your business partners are going to notice that. Good. DJ captured her hand and pressed a kiss to her palm. Let them notice. Let everyone know you are mine. Possessive much. When it comes to you, absolutely. He rolled her onto her back, settling his weight over her. I waited weeks to have you. Now that I do, I am never letting go. He proved his point thoroughly, taking his time until Nadia was gasping his name and forgetting why they ever left the bed in the first place. The next morning, DJ had a meeting at his downtown office. Nadia expected him to leave her at home like before, but instead, he brought her along, his hand firmly intertwined with hers as they walked into the building. The reaction was immediate. Men in suits stared openly as DJ guided Nadia through the halls with his hand on her lower back. By the time they reached the conference room, whispers followed in their wake. Wait here, DJ said, settling Nadia in his personal office. I will be done in an hour. There are books on the shelf if you get bored. He kissed her, not caring that his secretary could see through the glass walls, then reluctantly pulled away. Nadia explored the office, touching the expensive furniture, looking at the view of Chicago spread out below. This was DJ's world, dangerous and powerful, and now she was part of it. 40 minutes later, raised voices erupted from the conference room. Nadia moved closer to the door, worry gnawing at her stomach. Through the frosted glass, she could see DJ standing, his posture aggressive. If you have something to say about my wife, say it to my face. DJ's voice carried clearly. Otherwise, keep her name out of your mouth. We are just concerned, another voice replied. You have changed, DJ. Ever since you married her, you have been distracted. Soft. The sound of a chair, scraping back violently. Soft? DJ's laugh was cold and dangerous. You think I am soft? You want to test that theory? Silence. Then footsteps heading toward the door. Nadia quickly moved back to the couch, pretending to read a book. DJ emerged with 3 other men following, all looking nervous. His eyes found hers immediately, and his entire expression softened. Ready to go, baby. The men behind him looked shocked at the endearment. DJ ignored them completely, helping Nadia with her coat and leading her out with his arm around her shoulders. In the car, Nadia finally asked, "What was that about?" DJ's jaw tightened. Some people think being in love makes me weak. They will learn differently. I do not want to cause problems for you. You are not causing anything. He pulled her close, kissing her temple. They are just afraid, because they know I would burn the whole world down for you now. That kind of devotion makes me more dangerous, not less. The proof came 2 days later, when Nadia went shopping with one of the wives from DJ's organization. She was looking at dresses when someone grabbed her arm roughly, yanking her toward the back exit. "Scream and I will hurt you," the man hissed in her ear, but Nadia had learned from DJ. She stomped on his foot hard, twisted out of his grip, and ran. The other wife immediately called for help, while Nadia locked herself in a dressing room, her heart hammering. DJ arrived within minutes, rage radiating off him like heat waves. His men had already caught the attacker, and DJ's first action was to sweep Nadia into his arms, checking her for injuries with shaking hands. "Did he hurt you? Tell me if he hurt you." "I am okay. I am okay." Nadia held his face, making him look at her. "I got away. I am fine." DJ pulled her against his chest, his arms like iron bands. Over his shoulder, Nadia saw him gesture to his men. They dragged the attacker away, and DJ's whispered instructions promised pain. "Come," he said quietly, leading Nadia to the car. "We are going home." Once in the penthouse, DJ paced like a caged animal. "This is my fault. I should have had more security with you. I should have—" "Stop." Nadia grabbed his hand, stopping his movement. This was not your fault. You cannot protect me from everything. Watch me try. DJ pulled her close, burying his face in her neck. I cannot lose you, Nadia. You are everything. If something happened to you, I would lose my mind. Nothing is going to happen to me. I have you protecting me, remember? The most dangerous man in Chicago. DJ pulled back slightly, his thumb tracing her cheekbone. I need you to understand something. What I did to that man today, what I will continue to do to anyone who threatens you, it will not be pretty. I will not be the gentle man I am with you. Can you accept that? Nadia thought about it carefully. I do not need to know the details. All I need to know is that you love me and you keep me safe. The rest is your world to handle however you need to. Something shifted in DJ's expression. Gratitude and love and possessive pride all mixed together. How did I get so lucky? We both got lucky. Nadia pulled him toward the bedroom. Now, come show me how much you missed me today. DJ's eyes darkened with heat, with pleasure. They spent the rest of the afternoon proving their love in the most physical way possible, DJ's touch both desperate and reverent. Like he was reminding himself she was real and safe and his. That evening, DJ received word that the threat had been eliminated. He made calls ensuring every organization in Chicago knew that Nadia Park was completely off limits. Anyone who touched her would face consequences worse than death. The message was received loud and clear. Over the following weeks, the cold penthouse transformed. Nadia added colour with throw pillows and art on the walls. She filled the kitchen with actual food and started cooking dinners that DJ came home early to eat. Plants appeared on windowsills. Photos of them together went up on shelves. DJ's men noticed the changes immediately. The Ice King, who used to terrify everyone, now smiled when his wife called. He left meetings early to go home. He kept a photo of Nadia on his desk and looked at it when he thought no one was watching. You have domesticated him, one of the older members told Nadia at a company dinner. I never thought I would see the day. He domesticated himself, Nadia replied, watching DJ across the room. As if sensing her attention, he looked over and winked. I just gave him a reason to. Late one night, wrapped around each other after making love slowly and thoroughly, DJ played with Nadia's hair and said quietly, I want to give you a real wedding. Nadia looked up at him in surprise. What? Our first wedding was cold, forced. You wore a dress they picked out and married a stranger who barely looked at you. His fingers traced her spine. I want to marry you again. Properly this time, with your family there and vows that actually mean something. I want to look into your eyes and promise to love you forever while everyone watches. Tears filled Nadia's eyes. You really want that? I want everyone to know that you chose me, that we chose each other. DJ cupped her face, his thumb wiping away the tear that escaped. I want to stand in front of the world and claim you as mine. Will you marry me again, Nadia? For real this time? Yes, she whispered. Yes, I will marry you 1,000 times if you want. DJ kissed her, pouring all his love into it. Once is enough, as long as it is the right way. They planned the wedding together over the next month. Small and intimate, just family and close friends. Nadia's parents cried with joy when DJ asked their blessing properly this time. Her brothers grudgingly admitted that maybe the scary mafia boss was not so bad, since he made their sister glow with happiness. The day of the wedding, DJ saw Nadia walking toward him in a dress she actually chose, flowers in her hair, love shining in her eyes, and he knew he would remember this moment forever. Not the cold ceremony in a hotel, but this, her choosing him. When the minister asked for vows, DJ took Nadia's hands and spoke from his heart. I promise to love you fiercely and protect you always. I promise to be yours and only yours for the rest of my life. You took a cold, damaged man and taught him how to feel again. You are my home, my heart, my everything. I vow to spend every day proving I am worthy of the gift of your love. Nadia's vows were just as emotional, her voice shaking with feeling. When they kissed, sealing their promises, DJ lifted her off her feet and spun her around while everyone laughed and cheered. At the reception, DJ could not keep his hands off her. They danced close, his lips near her ear as he whispered all the things he planned to do to her later. Nadia blushed and laughed and promised to hold him to every single one. You know, she murmured as they swayed together, when I agreed to marry you to save my family, I never imagined this, that I would actually fall in love with you. Neither did I, DJ admitted. I thought I would keep you at a distance, fulfill the arrangement, and move on with my life. Instead, you destroyed all my walls and rebuilt me into someone better. You were always someone good underneath. I just helped you remember. DJ pulled back to look at her, love and awe clear on his face. I do not deserve you. Yes, you do. And I am going to spend the rest of our lives proving it. They went home that night as husband and wife, truly married in every sense. DJ carried Nadia over the threshold of their penthouse, both of them laughing, before heading straight to the bedroom. Their lovemaking was urgent and passionate, both of them unable to get enough of each other. DJ whispered promises against her skin, vows of forever that only they would hear. Nadia gave herself to him completely, trusting him with everything she was. Afterward, they lay tangled together in the moonlight streaming through the windows. DJ's hand rested possessively on Nadia's hip, while she traced patterns on his chest. What are you thinking about? She asked. The future, our future. DJ's hand slid down to rest on her stomach. Maybe someday there will be little ones running around this penthouse, probably a girl with your smile who will have me wrapped around her tiny finger. Nadia's heart swelled. You want children. With you, I want everything. He kissed her softly. I want lazy Sunday mornings and family dinners. I want to watch you paint while I work. I want to grow old with you and look back on a life well lived. I want it all, Nadia. Then we will have it all, she promised, together. DJ held her closer, breathing in her scent, marveling at how completely his life had changed. He had broken his old vow, the one about staying away from innocence, but in return, he had gained something infinitely more precious. A wife who loved him despite his darkness. A home instead of just a house. A future filled with hope instead of emptiness, and a love so deep and true that it transformed everything it touched. I love you, he whispered into the darkness. Today, tomorrow, and every day after. You are mine, and I am yours, forever. Forever, Nadia echoed, pressing a kiss over his heart. I love you too. They fell asleep, wrapped in each other's arms, two people who had started as strangers, forced into marriage, and ended as soulmates who chose each other every single day. The ruthless mafia boss who vowed never to be intimate with virgins had broken his promise, but in doing so, he had found something far more valuable than any vow could provide. He had found love, real, consuming, world-changing love, and that made him the luckiest man alive. If you loved DJ and Nadia's journey from forced marriage to true love, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Drop a like if this story made your heart race, and share it with anyone who loves a good mafia romance. Comment below telling me your favourite moment. Was it the beach scene in Miami, the emotional reveal in New Orleans, or their wedding night? Let me know. More Afro-Korean romance stories are coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. Thanks for reading, and I'll see you in the next story.